And welcome back to the Homemade Podcast of Sports with your host, Jay Pops. Guys, we're back. I thank all of you guys for tuning in. And for the ones that could not, please just make sure that you watch this show later on. Just make sure that you subscribe so you can get this show as soon as it goes out, okay? In a big up and a big thanks to all of you guys. I told you that I was going to slowly but for surely go ahead and make my way on back to the podcast, okay? So, guys, what do we have on today? What will we be talking about today? What is it? And guys, just for you guys' awareness and just so you guys can know, I will officially be doing the podcast Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. sharp. Okay? Friday, if nothing happens, being, that is a Friday, right? But Friday, if nothing happens, guys, this podcast will be going live at 7 p.m. Now, that may change only for Friday, but no Thursday shows, none whatsoever, okay? No Thursday shows. If I do a Thursday show, that means one thing and one thing only. My son is on a bye week, okay? So once again, for you guys out there, the new podcast time will be at 7 p.m. Please make sure you guys tune in, and please make sure you guys subscribe to the show. Oh, excuse me. And please make sure you guys tell others to subscribe to the show as well. All right, so guys, let's go ahead and get on into it, okay? Let's go ahead and get on into it. So that Texas A&M, that Texas A&M's defense against that Florida Gators offense. Guys, what are we looking at here? What are we looking at? Are we looking at a Texas A&M defense that is giving up in a absurd amount of yards rushing against a Florida Gators team that hardly even runs the football, right? Or are we going to go out there and are we going to put our hat on, and make the Florida Gators beat us with the passing game? Are we going to do it, right? Are we going to use our strength? Are we going to use our passing game strength and make the Florida Gators beat us through that? Guys, to be honest with you, nobody has really beaten us in the air. Nobody's really beaten us through the air. Even in the Notre Dame game, Riley Leonard did not look good, people. Okay? Riley Leonard made plays with his legs. He did not make plays through the air. If somebody comes on here and makes that lie and say, yeah, man, Riley Leonard passed all over us. No, he didn't. No, he did not. No, he did not. Okay? He may have ran all over us, but he didn't pass all over us. Okay? So Texas A&M is really, really going to have to lean heavily on that rushing defense to come out and make a statement. They are. But they're also going to have to look to their passing defense to go out there and be a shutdown passing unit. They're going to have to go into the no-fly zone. Okay? That's the God honest truth on that. I do feel like we got the guys that will put hats on hats so far as those receivers are concerned for the Florida Gators. All right? So let's go ahead and get on into it. Please excuse me on that, but guys, let's go ahead and get on into it. First and foremost, if you guys would please hit that subscribe button, okay? As of right now, right? I think I'm at about 1,270 subscribers, but it could be more. It can be more. But as of right now, the line for this matchup is at 3.5. You go ahead and give me the points all day long for Texas A&M. I will take those guys to cover the points. Because like I said on the last podcast, guys, this game may be a tight ball game, but the score that I'm giving, or the score that I'm predicting rather, is 27-20 Texas A&M. For all we know, this game could go out of hand, go into Texas A&M favor, and go Texas A&M way the entirety of the football game. Okay, so let's see what we have when it comes game day. And by the way, this game starts at 2:30 p.m. on ABC. Okay, so Scooby Williams out there, young man, if you listen, and trust me, it isn't nothing personal. I know it's not nothing personal. When a certain individual got up to the podium and pretty much said something. His words, not mine, right? And these words aren't going to be all the way correct. But he said something like this. When you see Scooby Williams, and also I think his name is Jaden Hill, right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think Jaden Hill, the cornerback. Run at both of them. You know, run at both of them. But he did say as well that he has much love and respect for both of you guys. Okay. Also with Jay Bateman, I love to hear this. The young man did say that Jay Bateman was, you know, pretty much a life coach with him, and he was pretty much there with him through his time out with the Florida Gators over there. So shout out to Jay Bateman. Jay Bateman, if you're listening, man, shout out to you. I'm so glad that we have you on the staff, and I cannot wait to see what the rest of the season has to offer under that certain defensive scheme that you're also calling, okay? And you're also coaching the linebackers, and I'm pretty sure that Terrion York is taking just about everything that you're saying to him in and using it to his full potential. I like that. Shout out to you on that, as well as Jordan Lockhart, as well as Martrell. I think his name is Martrell Harris, in which I cannot wait to see on that field. And Enoch White. Enoch White, if you're listening, I cannot wait until you come back on that field, man. I cannot wait. If Enoch White comes back on that field, you can go ahead and best believe that this defense is about to be amped up. Okay? So shout out to all of you linebackers out there. I do believe that we have a superb linebacking core, and I do think that we can go along with it. Okay? So let's go ahead and get on into it. So the ESPN rankings, right? The ESPN analytics, and we're just talking about defense here. So we're going to the SEC. The defensive rankings in the SEC right now. Texas A&M is number 12. They have the 12th best defense when it comes up to yards allowed, and that's pretty much total defense all the way around. Texas A&M has the 12th best. Okay, the Florida Gators offense, and once again, this is the SEC, and this is ESPN's analytical rankings. Okay, and analytical rankings here, ranking the numbers. Florida's offense. They have the 8th best offense right now. Okay. That's the Florida Gators. The Florida Gators have the 8th best offense in all of the SEC. That's pretty darn good. Okay. Now, being that they did go out there and play Sanford, right? That did boost up those rankings, you know, just a little bit. You know, that did pad the stats just a little bit. But hey, Texas A&M just got out there last week and they played McNeese State. Okay. Now, did we put up as many passing yards as DJ Lagway did? No, we did not. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say this. If DJ Lagway is starting, that still doesn't concern me, because me, just like you guys, we have to see him go out there and prove himself. I think him being in a situation against that Texas A&M very experienced cornerback core, I think that could be hard and that could be challenging. I'll take Texas A&M standing up to the challenge. You know, just being that DJ Lagway is a freshman at the end of the day. Now, what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything at all. That doesn't mean that DJ Lagway doesn't have it. That just means that DJ is going to have to prove a little bit more. And that's being thrown into the fire, in my opinion, before you're ready. So if that does happen, it doesn't concern me. However, DJ will play hard. DJ will play until the last whistle has been blown. Okay, if they're going to go up against Graham Mertens, I still believe that that's a challenge. I honestly do. I know what we seen in the Miami game. I understand that part. Graham Mertz got hurt as well. All right, so we just don't know what we'll get from Graham Mertz. Dating back last year, it was the second game of the season, and I thrown out there that Texas A&M's defense, in which is their secondary unit, right? They were going to stand up to the challenge against Miami because, number one, I feel like Miami didn't have any challenge. Turned out, Tyler Van Dyke had one of his best games of his career ever, and probably won't have another one like that ever again. But he just completely embarrassed that Texas A&M defensive backfield. So I'm sitting up here now. I would not eat my words like that again. Okay. However, do I trust this backfield more than last year's backfield? Yes, I honestly do. So third down percentage defensive ranking, and this is national here. This is a national rank. Texas A&M is, let me go in and find them here. This third down percentage defense now that we're talking about. Texas A&M is tied for number 62 in the country. It isn't great, but it's good. All right. Once again, it isn't great, but it's good. That means that defensive line can make a stand. It's just, are we going to see more of those stands come this Saturday? All right. So third down offensive percentage. The Florida Gators are, you find these guys in here. So third down percent, the Florida Gators are, and if Florida is way back here, then this is going to be the strong advantage that Texas A&M is going to be able to hold up. And once again, they are way in the back. The third down percentage wise, the Florida Gators are ranked number 113 in the country. They have completed 6 out of 20 third down attempts. That means something. It's a reason, like I said yesterday, of why they're giving the Aggies a 3.5-point nudge. Okay? If this defense shows up on third downs, if this defense shows up, period, and gets the Florida Gators in third down situations, just like I said before, this game can go absolutely horrible for the Florida Gators. Okay? They are not good at all in converting third downs. You have to play this thing game by game. That doesn't mean anything leading up to Saturday. But by all accounts, I'm going to take Texas A&M to get out there and get a lot of stops on third downs. Okay? And you're going to hear a lot of booing from the crowd. I just want to let that be known right now. It's going to be a lot of booing from the crowd. Okay. All right. So let's go to some more defensive stats here. So points allowed. I'm going to go to the offensive as well. So points allowed, the SEC ranks. So far as the SEC is concerned, right? Points allowed. Texas A&M is number 12 in the country. I'm sorry. They're number 12 in the SEC with points allowed right now. Offensively, the Florida Gators, for points per game, they're the 14th best team in the SEC. This is the reason to why a lot of people are calling this game close. The Gators are number 14. They're number 14. So far as their actual national ranking, go to team points here. Where's that? Where's that? Where are you at? Where are you at? Give me a second here, guys. Scoring offense. There we go. All right. So scoring offense wise, right? The Florida Gators, I think the last time I checked, they were like in the 80s down here. Nope, they're in the 60s. So national ranking wise, right? The Florida Gators are tied for 68 in the country with 31 points a game. Defensively, Texas A&M giving up points, right? Scoring defense wise. And remember that this is the national ranking here. So scoring defense wise, Texas A&M is tied for 54, tied for number 54 in the nation. That does mean something. That's why a lot of people are saying that if anything, that they'll lean on that Texas A&M defense to pretty much get in here and make it a ball game. Okay, that is pretty darn good, to say the least. That does have me excited more than anything. Guys, did you all know that there was still a Pac-12 left? That makes absolutely no sense at all. That is absolutely insane to me. All right, so passing yards, right? Let's go ahead and get offensive passing wise. So that's the defense. Going to get offensive passing yards a game here. So passing yards a game. And this is the reason to why I'm saying Texas A&M backfield will be tested in this game. So Florida ranked. So Florida is the 8th best team so far as the SEC concerned. Well, so far as the SEC is concerned, and this is pretty much the ESPN analytical SEC rankings. Florida is the 8th best passing team. However, Texas A&M, defensive wise, with passing yards a game, Texas A&M is the 6th best passing defensive team. That says something, and that says a lot. That means one thing and one thing only. Texas A&M should be ready for the challenge. Okay? So let's go to passing yards. So passing offense. Let's go ahead and just pull this up here. Passing offense, so far as the nation is concerned, Florida is, and if you guys have been watching this long enough, you guys know that I love breaking this stuff down stat by stat. So I do dig deep into these stats, and I just thank you guys for listening. So I think I may have passed them up. And we're talking about passing offense here. That Florida logo always gets me because it just hides in there, hides in everything. So the passing offense, right? Nationally, Florida is ranked number 32 in the country. Okay, which is pretty darn good, by the way. To be ranked that out of 126 teams, I want to say. That's pretty darn good. So Texas A&M, passing defense wise, they're tied for 23rd in the country. They're tied for 23rd with Tennessee for passing yards given up a game. All right, that is pretty darn good, man. Seriously. All right, so we can go back to this defensive. Let's look at rushing yards a game. So this is defensively here. Go to offensively. See what we can find here. So offensively, Florida right now. Florida has the 10th best rushing offense in the SEC right now. Texas A&M rushing defense is the 15th. Is ranked number 15 in the SEC with rushing defense. this rushing defense will get challenged, mainly because it's a lot of guys around the country that are looking at those stats, and they're trying to figure out, as well as us, what the hell is going on with the rushing defense. I'm not going to say that I'm overly concerned about the rushing defense. However, that does need to get fixed, because if those guys do give up a lot of rushing yards, then this game could be very, very closer than what everybody expected out there. Okay. And that's going to open up something. I'm going to say probably along the season. I do not expect Texas A&M rushing defense to be bad midway through the season. I can't honestly say that, only because it is Mike Elko here now that we're talking about. So that guy is known for starting out a little bit slow, but then again, as you progress throughout the season, Mike Elko is known for shoring up that defense and making sure that it's good to go. So nationally, the Florida rushing offense is ranked at, I believe I passed it up for whatever reason. So Florida's offense nationally, they're the 75th best rushing team in the nation. All right, that's what they are. They're the 75th best rushing team. The rushing defense for Texas A&M, nationally ranked. Those guys are, and I'm gonna go way to the back here because I pretty much already know where they're at. Texas A&M is tied for 109 in the country with 189 rushing yards given up a game. If this number goes down significantly to about 100 on Saturday, or maybe even lower than that, then you can expect this game to be a blowout. I'm going to say that for the people in the back, and that's a pretty bold statement that I just made. But you can expect this game to be a blowout. All right, because what that means is, number one, Texas A&M has pretty much bagged up the Florida Gators. They pretty much know what they want to do to them. And that comes with the likes in the aggressiveness in which guys that I am pointing out right now to make an impact in this game. Number one is Shamar Stewart. I feel like Shamar Stewart is going to make the biggest impact in this game, and I'm ready for him to do that. The second biggest player in this game to watch is Shamar Turner. Shamar Turner will make an impact on the defensive line in this game. The third personnel is DJ Hicks. I expect them to make an impact. The fourth personnel is Nick Scourton. I expect this defensive line to eat come Saturday. Reason being, that offensive line for the Florida Gators, they're not good. They are not good at all. All right? I don't expect them to look how the way they looked against Notre Dame. I do not expect that. All right? I expect these guys to come in there and completely dominate that line of scrimmage. I honestly do. So let's continue to go here. So the first down defense, right? For Texas A&M, first down defensive wise. Let's see how these guys look. And see, a lot of people don't look at these close stats, but a lot of these stats do decide the factor of the game. The first down defense for Texas A&M, they're tied for number 54 in the country. All right. That ain't great, but it's good. It's actually good enough. So first down offense. And we're going to check out Florida here. First down offensive wise. Let's see what Florida fares. If Florida is pretty much in the back, then that's going to be a telling story, man. That is going to be a telling. Florida ranks number 76 in the country in first down offense. That right there alone has excited me. That makes me feel way better. And that lets me further know that Texas A&M should not lose this ball game at all. All right? They should absolutely not lose this ball game. Reason being is because of that right there, what I just gave you. That what I just gave you. Texas A&M has the better defense than that Florida Gators offense. All right, so let's keep on going here. So let's look at some other things here. So fumbles lost. A lot of people like to look at this. Let's go ahead and see who's going to win the turnover battle. You know? I believe as of right now, Graham Mertz, I believe, has lost the fumble or is the running back. So Florida right now only has about one fumble lost on the season. Texas A&M right now has 0 turnovers, and I think I told you guys this yesterday, but they're tied for like 60 in country or something like that with like 0 takeaways right now. They have 2 on the season, but they are tied up for the turnover margin differential. If Texas A&M comes in and they get 2 turnovers in this game, I'm going to make a bold statement. I'm going to make a bold statement, but it's going to be a true statement. Texas A&M is going to blow out Florida. If Florida has 2 turnovers in this game, Texas A&M is going to blow the Florida Gators out. I'm going to say that they're going to score on both of those turnovers. I'm not saying it'll be a pick 6 or a fumble recovery for a touchdown, anything like that, but Texas A&M will absolutely blow this team out. That is a very, very bold statement, man. Knowing just about what Texas A&M has put up so far as the season is concerned, and that I do understand. But if they have those turnovers, in which they should have had 2 turnovers in the Notre Dame game, and that Notre Dame game would have went the other way around. You guys cannot come on here and say that if Ratcliffe would have not caught that ball, that would have not been a pick 6. That pick 6 would have totally turned that game all the way around. All right, but hey, we continuously move on. He got his pick 6 back, and we're going to keep on going. I expect Bryce Anderson to have a field day in this game. If they're going to throw the football, I expect Bryce to get out there, and I expect Bryce to get one of these interceptions. I expect Tyreek Chappelle to come out there and have a couple of pass deflections in this game, heavily. Another guy in which you can tell he's getting acclimated to that defensive scheme, Eli Ricks. I expect Eli Ricks to have a good game. I didn't say a monster game, but I expect Eli Ricks to have a good game against this Florida Gators wide receiver corps. If that guy has a good game and turns it into an elite performance, man, this game is gonna be pretty much wrapped up, man. If Connor comes out and show their ass, it really, really is, man. It really is. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at some more things here. So sacks allowed, team sacks. Texas A&M has no team sacks at the moment. This is why I say this is the game and where it's going to have to be that turning point in that defining moment for that Texas A&M defensive line to just come alive with all those damn monsters that they have on that defensive line. All right. A lot of people don't like to talk about star rankings. A lot of people do like to talk about star rankings. Texas A&M by far has the most star rankings on their defensive line. If I'm not mistaken, they are by far the only unit in all of college football to have about 3 5-stars on that defensive line in the rest of all 4 stars. You guys can go and look that up if you want to. It's time for that defensive unit to come alive and damn it, put some stars on the field. So sacks allowed. The Florida Gators are for sacks allowed. The Florida Gators have given up 3 sacks. What does that mean? That means Texas A&M needs to get in that backfield and eat. They need to make it so heavy for Graham Mertz and even DJ Lagway. They need to make it so miserable to where when those guys are getting up off the field, they're just looking at the offensive lineman dumbfounded, just like, God damn, y'all can't block, man. Golly. That is how that game needs to look. It needs to look like that, okay? So I believe that Texas A&M will win the sack battle. It's just all about a matter of getting back there. Okay. Let's look at another thing here. Tackles for loss, which is another really good one that I feel like a lot of people look at, but then again, don't look at and wonder why a lot of people are in that backfield all the time. A lot of people didn't know this. Tackles for loss allowed, though. I'm just throw this out there. Nobody can say anything about this offensive line unit. I promise you, I do not want to hear that. I've been hearing about it on a couple of these podcasts. Oh, man, you know, in an offensive line, man, that offensive line is doing damn good than where they're doing way better than where we used to be. As of right now, Texas A&M is 10th. It's the 10th best team in all of college football in giving up tackles for loss. And I say that with an emphasis. I say that with a big emphasis. Texas A&M is ranked 10th in the nation with tackles for losses allowed. That's damn good than where we used to be at a year ago. Okay? So let me fly in Florida here. So the Florida Gators, they are tied for 49. They're the 49th best team for tackles for loss allowed. That's not good. Well, that's not great. It's decent, being that it's like 100 and some teams out here. But for team tackles for loss, let's look and see where A&M fares at. Excuse me. Let's look and see what Texas A&M is ranked at. Texas A&M is tied for number 85 in the country with team tackles for loss with about 5 per game. Now, this number can be higher, you know. That's actually bad at the moment. So you want to get in there. You want to get some pressure. You want to get these running backs on the ground. Okay? You do. You honestly want to get these running backs on the ground. All right, guys, and let's look at one more thing here, and that's going to wrap it up. That is going to wrap it up for the podcast for today, man. Once again, I love all of you guys for tuning in, and we're going to be done in just a second here. All right, so we're going to look at this red zone defense against that red zone offense. So defensively, red zone wise, right? Where does Texas A&M line up at? Where do they fare? Are they good or are they not good? We're going to find out. So as of right now, Texas A&M is tied, in which you guys can't take this the wrong way, right? But Texas A&M is tied for number 86 in the country with red zone defense. It's a lot that goes into that, and it says this here, they can get to the red zone, but a lot of these guys aren't scoring on us in that red zone. All right? So red zone offense, the Florida Gators, where they at? Offensively, for the Gators, they are tied for number 110 in the country. They have about 4 rushing touchdowns on the season, 0 passing touchdowns, 1 field goal made in 7 attempts. All right, so that means one thing and one thing only. If they get up to the red zone, they're going to run the football. That's basically what that means. They're going to try to run the football all day long, but it's up to Texas A&M to get out there and stop them like crazy. Okay? So once again, look, I am taking Texas A&M on 3.5 points. The line has went down from 4.5 to 3.5. Just want to let you guys know that, in which you all can go and do your own research as well. But I am taking Texas A&M on the points. I think Texas A&M will cover, and I think Texas A&M outright wins this football game. You could see a blowout, but then again, you guys cannot. I've already predicted my score once again, and that's going to be 27-20, Texas A&M. Okay, so you guys let me know what you think in the comments, and once again, please subscribe to the podcast. And I thank all of you guys for tuning in. Once again, hashtag Gigem Aggies.